Hey guys, welcome back to Beast Quest Series 8, Book 6, Bloodboar, the Buried Doom. Okay, it's finally time to wrap up Series 8, which I've read now for the second time. First was back in school, but now I'm out and it's like God knows how long years older, but we finally got through it the second time. And I can easily say, well, this is the best book of Series 8. And that's kind of a disappointing thing to say, because normally everything ends at the big finale, so you expect the last book to be the best. But as a reader of knowing how this formula works, I really don't want that to be the case, that, the finale is the best book because that's where everything breaks down. And I really don't want that to be the case. But to be honest, that really is it for Series 8. This book is the best because I'll get to that later, why. But first we need to get through the story and wrap up, this, Series 8. So let's get through this. Tom and Eleanor, disguised as pirates, aboard Sampeo's ship, all heading to the city where the Tree of Being would burst out next. After some blending and pirate orders, Tom saw the Eye of Cronus giving him a vision, showing Eleanor, in a secret, it was a vision of Taladon being stabbed by Sampeo. Tom refusing to believe this was going to happen, Eleanor spoke up, encouraging they would prevent this. Tom and Eleanor saw the Avantian arrows flying at them, which told them they had arrived at the Avantian city. Now in the story they just call it the city, so I changed this to the Avantian city to make it stand out a bit more. They snuck off to one of the lifeboats, and Tom used his shield and sword to deflect the arrows, only to have Sampeo recognize Tom's shield. Tom knew that Sampeo had caught on, so in a risky move, he grabbed Eleanor and jumped off the lifeboat using the power of Arctur's feather to break their fall, despite Eleanor claiming the shield couldn't hold both of them. They ended up in the castle and joined up with King Hugo and Taladon, who showed them the Tree of Being and told them that the last of Sampeo's beast, Bloodboar, is in the south side, while the pirates were at the front. With the beast already here, it looks like it was sent on ahead. It looks like Bloodboar was sent on ahead to prepare for Sampeo's arrival. Tom and Eleanor faced Bloodboar and studied the beast carefully. After seeing from a distance, they knew that his charges strong, but his body indicates it's hard for him to turn. So they dodged his charges at the last second and noticed that Bloodboar wore an armoured harness. If they could remove it, Bloodboar would be vulnerable. Taladon told Eleanor to help the soldiers as Bloodboar was focused on Tom, and after trying to ride the beast to pull the armour off the beast, his sword slipped and toppled off, along with Tom, of course. There is a plot hole on page 49. The book says Freya is trapped in Gwildor when it should be Tavarnia, as you guys know, so hopefully that's corrected in future. Tom fought Bloodboar while Eleanor was preparing a plan. Tom managed to chop off the tip of Bloodboar's tusk. Eventually Tom figured out Eleanor had two spears and tied with rope as a tripwire hook. Tom got one and Eleanor had the other, and when Bloodboar charged again, he fell, crashing his tusk deep into the ground and making his armour come off. Before Tom could finish off Bloodboar, there was no need, as without his armour it seemed he hadn't the strength to exist anymore. He turned to dust and Bloodboar was defeated, gaining the last token, an armoured star from Bloodboar's armour. Tom wondered where is Sampeo, of course. Tom, Eleanor and King Hugo's men protected the tree as the army of pirates fought through. Tom took care of a soldier with a whip and joined with Eleanor. After that, Tom was caught in a net, and before the pirate could finish him, Eleanor came to the rescue. However, a pirate was sneaking up behind her and choked her. Tom cut himself free of the net and tossed his shield, rescuing Eleanor. They joined forces with the soldiers, only to understand they couldn't keep this up much longer. Tom whistled for Storm and Blizzard, and with King Hugo and Taladon, they turned the tide of battle. They made Sampaio force a retreat, and Tom couldn't believe Sampaio was escaping. First of all, it's great to see that King Hugo also fights, he also fights, proving he deserves to be the king, and he's not fully reliant on his men. He's willing to risk his life for his kingdom. Also, I just realized Sampaio could always come back whenever the tree changes spots, which means this formula of Sampaio's planning could go on for a long time. Luckily, it's ending in this book. Sampaio tried to escape on his flying ship, leaving his remaining pirates behind, only for him to be stopped by the wizard Adaro, who was now stronger than ever, with new robes. Talador explained that it took all of Adaro's old magic to conquer Sampaio's spell on him. So now, like Lord of the Rings, he has been reborn into a stronger and more powerful wizard. Adaro made Sampaio's ship crash into the battlements, which was now leaning like a seesaw. Tom went on to face Sampaio, and they got into a sword fight, while trying to steady themselves. Sampaio stepped back too much, and Tom tried to save him. But of course, he tried to save him by grabbing his belt. Of course, it tore off, and Tom got back his dual belt powers, and Sampaio fell over. Adaro, of course, saved Sampaio from dying, and he was brought to Taladon. Instead of killing him, Taladon gave Sampaio a chance to change his evil ways. But of course, Sampaio planned to backstab him, which was shown earlier from the Eye of Cronus. Tom, not allowing this to happen, stopped Sampaio by throwing his armoured star, which he had won from Bloodboar. Before the blade hit Taladon, Tom had saved his father, and the soldiers took Sampaio away. They went into the tree to reunite with their friends, and Tom feared what if it didn't work. But then everyone assumed that the tree was dying. And at this point, I was going to stop the book because I finished chapter 8. But when I heard the tree was dying, I was like, I've got to keep reading to finish this up. But of course, it turns out the tree was not dying, but opening the portal to Tavania. And after a bit of waiting, Freya and Silva reunited. Hugs and greetings from all. Taladon reunited with his wife, and after a long reunion, the tree sank into the earth again. But Sampaio's ship had fell from where it was leaning and crashed into the dungeon. Trying to save the prisoners, in case they were killed or were planning to escape, they helped one up, but he quickly made a run for it, and Tom recognized him straight away, Malvel. But Adaro told him to let him go, as there will always be enemies, and he knew Tom would face him, and he would be stronger now with his mother and father finally fully reunited. And that is the end of Series 8. Overall, that was quite a lot of big stuff to get out of the way with, but hopefully I got through that pretty well. As you can see, with all this stuff going on with Sampaio, with the portal, and with, you got a wrap-up to the Beast, which was wrapped up pretty quickly in the first 4 chapters. You get a good book here. You get the Beast action, you get the big villain fight you want. Everything wraps up pretty nicely. The fight with Sampaio was a bit short, but then again, I'm glad it was short because I really didn't like this villain, to be honest. Let's get on with Sampaio. This is the problem with Series 8 all in its weak point. Its weakest element of this series to me is its villain. Sampaio is like the second most interesting villain compared to Malvel, who's the weakest so far for me. While Velmal is like at the top. But now I said earlier on in a past book that I say he's like equal to Velmal. I don't know. It's something about him, it bugs me off because he does some of the cliche stuff that typical villains do, and I get why, it's just to continue the story and continue the plotting, but eventually for him it gets very repetitive and annoying at times. I wish they created better loopholes for this character, because what they did with him, it really does seem that they could have done more. You've got this pirate with this flying ship, and I felt like, personality-wise, they could have done more of the personality. But that's just me. And I'm glad the fight with Sampaio was pretty short too. I mean, in the final fight, why didn't Sampaio use his dual powers to his advantage? There was a chance there. But no, he didn't, so that's a shame. Overall, I didn't like this guy anyway, so I'm glad he got what's coming to him. Malvel's back, out. I was expecting that at one point. I wasn't expecting so soon though, but he's back. I don't know, I lose my memory who the next villain is for Series 9. so I think it might be Malvel. Velma will be cool, because he's my favourite. But I think it's Malvel. I really hope it's not though, but I think it is. Anyway though, of course, like I've said, Bloodboar, The Berry Doom, best book in Series 8, pretty easily though. And of course, with that being said, nice little touches, boar is on the Chinese zodiac is, the boar is the Chinese zodiac symbol. And it's my mother's sign. And also this book is purple, which is cool, which is my mother's favourite colour, so that's a nice little touch there too. And I like the whole thing with his father and the Eye of Cronus and all that little stuff. There was a good time. There were tensions in this book, and the tree dying, of course, like I said. So there were a good few elements in here that backed up to keep you reading and engaged. Overall, this has been my last review of Series 8. We're going on to Series 9, and majority of those, well, 5 out of those are going to be old covers. The only one that isn't is Ursus. But that means Ursus is the next book, so I'm looking forward to finally do Series 9. Because the only 2 series that I have read before are Series 1, Series 6, Series 8. But my memory of those books, primarily Series 6 and 8, were very vague. So getting through them a second time was pretty good. And now I can finally move on with a clean slate and all new books. Mind you, I have read a few minor ones like Spike, Finn, and Bull 4 and other previous books, but that is, like I said, like this series, it was very hard to remember all this stuff. I mean, I was surprised with the tree dying at one chapter, so. Overall, of course, I'm going to wrap this up now. Overall, of course, Bloodboar is the best book, Series 8, like I said. We'll be doing Ursus next, so get ready for that. And it's going to be awesome to see Sanpeo, so he's in jail. Well, I think they need to fix the dungeon, but they'll fix it. Anyway, but we'll be back next time with Ursus, as the Beast Quest continues. So, till next time, guys. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. See you next time with Ursus.